The world is full of tours. But you don't choose a Toyota truck to follow the beaten path. You choose it to find the places in between. The detours, where each adventure pulls you toward the next. And wrong turns turn out right. So why would you ever take a tour when you could take a detour? Toyota Trucks.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered legal, medical, or mental health advice. The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the podcast and are not intended to malign any religion, group, club, organization, business, individual, anyone, or anything.
I'm Sarah Edmondson.
And I'm Anthony Nippy Ames, and this is A Little Bit Culty.
We woke up from a cult, and that journey was captured in The Vow on HBO and in my memoir, Scarred.
Now, in this podcast, we break down the shame and secrets that make these experiences so destructive with honest conversations on how seemingly benign groups can cross into the cultiverse and how to spot and recover from trouble if it happens to you.
Each week, we bring in experts, survivors, and whistleblowers to explore red flags, resilience, and even share a few laughs, because sometimes you gotta laugh.
Subscribe to our Patreon for early and ad-free listening, some live Q&A, and exclusive content at patreon.com/alittlebitculty.
Welcome to Season 8 of A Little Bit Culty.
Do you think Santa Claus gaslit his elves?
Oh, yeah. Santa's like maybe a little bit of a narcissist. It's all about him.
It's all about ho, ho, ho. Just like, but Santa, he's like, ho, ho, ho.
He's like, get to work, minions. I don't know. I feel like he's...
Like, your work is too hard.
He definitely abuses his power.
He's like, do you believe in Christmas? Then you would work because you want to.
Merry Christmas, everybody. I really hope that nobody's listening to this on Christmas.
Why?
I want you to be like with your family and opening stockings, but I guess, maybe...
Especially with the can of whoop-ass you're about to open.
Excuse me?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
We'll see.
So we were recording this obviously before Christmas, but this will drop on Christmas, so...
Don't tell them that.
Well, they know.
They totally thought we were live.
This is not live. We're a week before Christmas. There's a lot going on in our lives and in the world, and some good, some awful, and we'll cover as much as we can.
Do you think once sports stopped, it would have been a little...
You cannot sip your coffee. It
lets them know that I'm in the room with them.
People, do you want to hear Nippy drinking his beverages? Yay or nay? Casual poll.
It's just kind of like, oh, wait, he's like right here
He's just
us.
a person. He's just a person who drinks beverages.
He sips his mugs too.
Okay. Anyway, Merry Christmas. We hope that you're maybe listening to this in between stocking opening and basting the turkey, and you just needed some light, a little bit culty fare to brighten your day.
It could be drinking.
You could be drinking heavily. You could be high on gummies. You could be totally sober. Whatever is going on for you, we hope you're having a good day. We're going to try to wrap this year up. In fact, we asked our Patreon audience, who kind of steers the ship sometimes with these decisions, what do we want to give our audience for Christmas? And they asked for a lot of things. They asked for an Ask Me Anything. They asked for Q&A. And they asked for a year recap, some voicemails. We're gonna try to do it all. But of course, with the AMA, the thing that's been dominating our DMs, text messages for those of you who have our personal numbers, and just, messages from friends is, what do we think of all of the new podcasts that have come out recently? Let's recap. Well, how many are there?
What podcast are you talking about?
The new Joe Rogan podcast?
He has a new podcast?
No. Which podcast are we talking about?
I have no idea.
If you don't know which podcast we're going to talk about right now?
No.
Escaping Nexium. Allison
that came out like 7 years ago.
Allison After Nexium on CBC with Campside.
Allison did what?
Oh my God,
See what I did there?
you're so honestly.
For like a second, I had you.
You know what I really want for Christmas is a little break from my husband. I love him so much, but we're writing this book, we're doing the podcast. I think we may need to
it works every time.
Take a little break. You're so annoying. I love you. You're annoying.
I know.
Okay, so we've got 3 podcasts to talk about, and one of them is the CBC Campsite. One of them is Kate Casey having Nancy on. And the third is Michael Rosenbaum, Inside of You with Allison Mack.
A couple of our calls, we'll give you a little teaser. A couple of our calls are asking us about it.
Here's the deal.
So there's a demand.
We actually...
Needless to say, there's a demand.
There's a huge demand. And of course, we've listened. We had to parse it out over some time. It was very emotional. It was an emotional ride. for me. Nippy, not so much, because he's cut off emotionally and
Yeah, I'm
vapid, dead inside.
Which allows me to evaluate objectively.
I, of course, am an indulgent, emotional princess. Oh, wait, we slip right back into it. No, it's just, we have different approaches to this. Truthfully, we can't really get too into it because of the legal stuff that's going on. So,
But I've got a couple.
we've got a couple things, but the main conversation, and I'm sorry to do this to you, but this is how it is. Mark Vicente, and actually Nippy was supposed to be there, but couldn't. He was dealing with some family stuff. Mark Vicente and I, a couple days ago, recorded a special, just like, how do we feel about these things? We can't really get into other things because of the legal stuff, but we can share our feelings. That will have already dropped.
It's dropped 2 days ago.
2 days ago on the 23rd.
Assuming we're live.
Yes. So if you want to hear all the things and you're on Mark Vicente's Patreon or on our Patreon, or you want to join one of our Patreons, which, as you probably know, really supports this podcast. 3 people joining at the inner circle level produces an episode. So you could be an episode producer, or a third of an episode, I guess.
AKA a sponsor.
Yeah, that's how it works.
A sponsor of Deep Dives.
Yes.
In a relentless pursuit of the truth.
I think you should go into a voiceover career with that one. In a world.
But however,
one man.
I'm gonna drop a little.
Yeah, so Nippy wasn't part of that conversation, so he'll give you a little taste of where we're at, or at least where he's at. I don't know what he's going to say. And then if you want to hear the rest of the conversation, Mark and I speak for over an hour, and that will be on our Patreons. Go ahead. What do you want to say?
Great intro.
How do you feel? Let me ask you a question. Let me pretend I'm the interviewer. How did you feel listening to those?
I'll say one thing. There's some questions that the SpeakPipe people have for us that can kind of segue into how
all right, let's play that one then. So we have some listener voicemails, and that's Nippy's going to play that now. Who's this first one from, babe?
This one's a cheery one. I like to start with a cheery one.
What's her name or his name?
His name is Frank Fridella.
Oh, who might actually be a guest. We're working on that for the new year. A ex-member of Access Consciousness, a group that we have been wanting to cover for a long time. We just needed somebody to interview. What does Frank have to say?
Hey, Sarah. Hey, Nippy. This is Frank calling from South Florida currently. I just want to give a shout out to the audio engineers on your show, the songwriters, the voices that make this happen. Sarah and Nippy, you're both amazing. I love the way your voice is balanced. That theme song is a banger. I just want to download that. A little bit culty jingle is great. It should be like a ringtone. I think you guys should make these things separately available on the site just for our purpose, just to download and use as a ringtone, or just because I want to hear that whole song. Anyway, you guys are doing awesome work, and I'm grateful for you. Hope you're doing well out there, and we'll talk soon. Bye.
Okay, well, I love that, and I appreciate that, Frank, but Nippy, that has nothing to do with Allison.
Hold my beer.
Okay, Allison's next, but before we get to that, Frank, thank you. We think it's a banger, too. When we heard that song, we knew it had to be our theme song. In fact, at the time, we were working on a scripted series about our experience, and we thought that would be the opening theme song, similar to Cold, Cold Heart, Pretty Little Lies.
Pretty Little Lies.
Pretty Little Lies. How's that song go?
Got that long
but
intro.
Who sings that song?
Iquanda, whatever his name is.
Oh my goodness, that song, Cold Heart, is that what it's called?
Cold Heart, yeah.
It was so eerie and perfect in that. And then John Bryant wrote that song, who, by the way, if you don't know the story, was in ESP in Vancouver, wrote the song as shit hit the fan, and it just really captures so much of our culty experience. He just had a baby, by the way. He's in Vancouver.
Yes, he did.
Check out his music,
and
find him.
Frank giving us some entrepreneurial tips there.
What was Frank saying?
You didn't hear that?
Which part?
We should have ringtones.
Oh, yeah, ringtones. We licensed that song from John. I will find out if we're allowed to. But follow John on Instagram. Give him a shout out. If you post the song, tag him. He's a great guy. And his whole music, his whole library is amazing. Okay, back to is this the next one? Is this the 8?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Hi, Sarah and Nippy. My name is Sarah, and I will tell you what chaps my ass. I obviously, I binged Allison after NXIVM, and what really, really chapped my ass was that last episode called The Lotus Flower. I thought that this episode perfectly encapsulated the contrast between escaping NXIVM and the realities of NXIVM, with how light and fluffy and softball Allison after NXIVM's podcast was. I thought that, this whole concept of a mise en scène where Allison gets her mark covered with a beautiful lotus flower while Natalie, the journalist, is there supporting and witnessing it, was like a sick reversal of the branding ceremony under Allison's direction. So, another female there supporting her and acting as a witness, kind of, the podcast mirroring the camera that was capturing this really, really painful torture that DOS women were put through. I thought, when I re-listened to Escaping NXIVM, I thought that Sarah was really confronted and asked really hard questions, and she showed tremendous courage, vulnerability, and I thought that by contrast, Allison was allowed to kind of like lightly hint at traumatic episodes in her youth and her childhood, was not pushed to reveal much, and kind of like neatly neatly explained her evolution into criminality. And towards the end, this kind of like episode that has this shallow and superficial symbolism of the lotus flower, which reminds me of how shallow and superficial the spirituality aspect was in NXIVM. And the journalist just kind of like is now, I think, complicit in spiritual washing Allison's narrative, and it really, really chaps my ass. And I am outraged on behalf of Sarah and other DOS survivors that this episode was handled this way. I really didn't like it. It really, really bothered me. Anyways, all my love, and thanks for listening. Bye.
Let's take a break from the cultiverse, shall we? Here's a word from our sponsors.
You hear that? That's not just a Toyota truck. That's the sound of no crowds, no alerts, no distractions, and no telling what you'll find next. Like a detour. So why would you ever take a tour when you could take a detour? Toyota trucks.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. The holidays are such a wild mix, right? So much joy and sometimes so much chaos. And traditions. Some of us have a whole catalog of them, and some of us are just starting to create our own. In our house, we're currently perfecting a new hot chocolate recipe with the kids. Yes, I do hot chocolate with the kids. And I'm trying to keep my great aunt's sweet potato pie tradition alive. Emphasis on trying. One tradition I've added for myself is making space for therapy during the holidays. It's honestly been a lifesaver. This time of year can be beautiful, but it can also be overwhelming, lonely, or just a lot. Therapy has given me a way to check in, reset, and actually enjoy the season instead of white-knuckling my way through it. BetterHelp makes it so easy. Their therapists are fully licensed in the U.S. and follow a strict code of conduct, and they do the matching work for you. You just answer a quick questionnaire, and with over 30,000 therapists and a 12-year track record of getting those matches right, you're set up with someone who fits your goals. And if it's not the right fit, switch anytime, no stress. They've helped over 5 million people already, and their live sessions have an average 4.9 out of 5 rating from more than 1.7 million reviews. Close the year with clarity instead of chaos. This December, start a new tradition by taking care of you. Our listeners get 10% off betterhelp.com/culty. That's betterhelp.com/culty. When it comes to holiday gifting, I'm done giving people stuff that ends up in the re-gift pile. I want to give things they actually love, like I'm wearing this for the next 10 years love. That's why I'm going with Quince. Quince is basically my secret source for luxury without the luxury markup. We're talking soft Mongolian cashmere sweaters for about $50. I have 2 of those that look and feel totally designer. Italian coats that are tailored, warm, and so beautifully made you'll swear they came from some fancy boutique. And everything else, silk tops, perfectly cut denim, and winter coats crafted for premium materials in ethical factories. The stitching, the fit, the drape all looks elevated and timeless. So if you want to give a gift that people actually wear on repeat, Quince is the move. Sarah bought me some white tees, basic and perfect. Sarah bought herself an organic cotton fisherman crew sweater in rose pink that she looks dope in. We are going to be buying quite a few of our Christmas gifts from Quince. Cashmere socks in the stocking, anyone? Yes, please. Find gifts so good you'll want to keep them with Quince. Go to quince.com/culty for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/culty to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/culty. Escape's over. Let's return to our regularly scheduled cult talk.
Thank you, Sarah, for taking the time to share your Chaps My Ass and also for providing a Chaps My Ass for this episode.
Yeah, it saved me some work.
Yeah, I have one. That wasn't particularly the one, but how did you feel about that, Nip? Did you
listen,
agree?
I don't disagree. There's not, I think a lot of things can be true with Allison. I don't disagree with that perspective at all. I agree with a lot of it.
You gotta stay.
Yeah, I mean, I have my opinions. I mean, let's hear what you thought of that first, and then I can comment.
Well, Mark and I did get into that, specifically that particular moment. So I'm going to save that for Patreon. But overall, I will say, and I'll leave here just to get people excited with their appetites for that bigger discussion, that it's not like yay or nay or black or white. There's so many mixed emotions here. Like, overall, I'm thrilled that she is on the healing journey. I'm thrilled that she has met somebody that understands what she's gone through, that's been radicalized and is now on the other side. Like, what are the chances? Amazing. I do agree that overall, I feel like the hard questions weren't asked. A lot of things were glossed over. And while it was, again, big picture, I'm really happy that this is out and that more people are speaking. Is very validating for me to hear other people share, basically backs up what I've been saying, and I feel less alone. But in terms of the podcast itself, I thought it was well made. There's some great moments. It's well produced. And I feel like Natalie missed some moments. And because she resonated with her and felt empathy for her, which I'm glad that she did and people should, it made it a little superficial and glossed over some bigger opportunities to dive into some things. And again, mixed emotions. I'm glad
Allison is a victim and a perpetrator, so she's wearing both hats. And the empathy side goes to the part where she was a victim, and the justice side should go to the part where she was the perpetrator. And the facts of this is she's objectively done her service by an objective standard, right? Legal standard. What else is she going to do? This is predictable, and her response is going to be somewhat predictable. It's going to be somewhat self-preserving, right? She doesn't want to be criticized anymore, which I understand. I didn't like being criticized. I didn't like hearing you be criticized and my friends criticized. And the reality of the situation is every time I hear a story about this, I found out more about how bad Keith was. And I think more justice is served at this point for Allison and everyone, turning her story into more wisdom into how this guy worked. I didn't know she had sex with him every day for a year. And that's coerced sex. That's not what she signed up for. In a way, that's rape. Let's call it what it is, right? And she was abused for a long time. Of course, she's going to end up abusing. I'm not justifying her behavior. I'm just saying, to your point, there's more nuance to this. And we're all better served
to have that information.
I don't think Allison Mack is getting out of jail and going back to pimping. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Do you know, she's not a seasoned criminal. She was obvious. She doesn't meet Keith Raniere. We're not having this conversation. I always liked her mom. Her mom seemed level-headed. She seemed level-headed in that podcast when I heard it. She has good people to lean on. I think she needs to go back and heal a little bit more before she opens her mouth. I've always felt that. Err on the side of healing a little bit more. And I think collectively that's understanding how it happened to Allison Mack can help people understand, can prevent it more than shaming her any more than she needs. That's my take.
I'm going to leave it there. I have lots to say, but I feel like I covered it already in the combo with Mark. So pause there. Thank you for your input, Nippy.
You're welcome.
By the way, since you couldn't be there with Mark and I, we had a great time, and we talked about doing more in the new year, like perhaps unpacking some course material and taking a little trip down memory lane just for fun. So stay tuned.
Yeah, that might happen.
For that.
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay, what's the next one? Who's this from?
This is a little bit more Allison Mack.
Okay.
But it's got a little dash of, I went to a Mark Vicente intro in Saratoga Springs.
What's the name?
Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
This message comes out of Saratoga from a Lauren Burke.
Hey, Sarah and Nippy. My name is Lauren. I'm calling from Saratoga Springs, New York, about a half hour north of Albany. And I just want to share my NXIVM story with you, especially in light of Allison Mack coming out now with her whole redemption story. I've just been thinking about you guys, and I've been following everything with NXIVM since my experience. So in 2014, I was in massage school in Albany, New York, and I was befriended by one of my classmates who was a woman probably in her early 40s or late 30s from Dubai. And we shared lunch together every day. I really felt like we were connecting. And then one day she invited me to go see the director of a documentary, What the Bleep Do We Know, do a talk. And I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. And it was right when school was done. So I followed her in her car to a kind of business-like complex with brick on the outside, I think in Clifton Park. And when she brought me into the building, it was really nice. There was nice granite. Everybody was good looking and looked me in the eye. And I felt kind of good, but also kind of weird. And she brought me over to a kitchen-like area where there were some women who greeted me and gave me, once again, a lot of eye contact and told me that I would be a great fit for this women's group. And I was so young. I was like 20 years old. And I've always looked up to successful women, and I felt like really honored that they saw something in me. After that, we went into a room, and it was essentially a pitch for the Executive Success Program. And I just felt off. There were other people that had been invited to this event, and most of them were older men, professionals in suits and stuff. And I was just this kind of scrappy kid, honestly. I saw some things on the wall with the word NXIVM on it, and I just made note of that. I remember going to the bathroom and seeing a flyer for volleyball, and something just felt off about the whole thing. After the pitch, I sat down with Mark Vicente on the couch, and I asked him, "What is this?" And he wouldn't give me a straight answer. He said, "Nancy Salzman over there," he pointed at, she's our director or something like this. And I couldn't put my finger on why something felt so off, and why when I asked him what this was, he didn't give me a direct answer. Anyway, it was before smartphones, so I drove home, went on the computer and Googled NXIVM, and I read what was, I believe, the first investigative report from the Times-Union about the group. And I was like, holy shit. I got really freaked out. And the next day I went and told the director of my massage school that this woman had basically tried to recruit me into a cult. And the woman never came back to school. Do you guys remember who she was? Anyways, ever since then, I've been really interested in all of the things that have come out about NXIVM. And since I've have listened to your podcast, I've just been really loyal to you guys. And I'm just sending you guys a lot of love right now with all the Allison Mack stuff that's coming out, and just feeling a lot of compassion for what you guys must be feeling. And just want to send you a lot of love and support from upstate New York, from someone who was so close to being a part of it. Anyways, lots of love. Take care, you guys.
Let's take a little break from the cultiverse. Here's a word from our sponsors. Ever heard of the 4 love languages? I think that I have all of them, I'm going to be honest, but I also really love gifts. I also love to give gifts. And when it comes to holiday gifting, I want to give things to people that they really love. Beautiful, timeless pieces that they'll wear for years. That's why most of the people in my life are going to be getting Quince this year. Everything is at a premium quality at a price that actually makes sense. When I say Quince has something for everyone, I'm not kidding. Just scroll through their website. You're going to find a gift for every single person on your list. You can even buy your Christmas tree on Quince. You can buy someone a brand new linen linen set for their bed, pillows, throw cushions, gloves, socks, jewelry, stocking stuffers. It's all at Quince this year. Check it out. And if you're going to dress up for the holidays, their silk tops and skirts are gorgeous. Everyday stuff. Oh yes, the denim, chef's kiss. The real stars though, Italian wool coats, beautifully tailored, super soft, and built to last season after season. Everything is made from premium materials and ethical, trusted factories, but priced way below what other luxury brands charge. You can see it in the details, the stitching, the fit, the drape. It's elevated, timeless, and you'll end up wearing it on repeat. This holiday, Quince has your non-apparel gifting covered too, from home to bath, kitchen, and travel essentials. Find gifts so good you'll want to keep them with Quince. Go to quince.com/culty for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINC.com/culty to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/culty. Happy shopping and happy holidays. You know how this time of year everyone's running on caffeine and leftover Halloween candy and whatever's left of their immune system? Yep, that's why we've been leaning hard on AG1. It's our daily green scoop of sanity. One drink that replaces your multivitamin, pre- and probiotics, superfoods, and antioxidants. We call it adulting in a cup. Between traveling back and forth between Atlanta and Vancouver, hosting family, and pretending we have our routines under control, it's easy to fall off the healthy wagon. AG1 Next Gen makes it simple to stay on track. It's got even more vitamins and minerals, plus gut-supporting pre- and probiotics that keep everything, moving smoothly. We love AG1 because it's one of those rare habits that actually sticks. You just scoop, shake, drink. Done. No 47-step wellness routine required, especially if you're trying to simplify your life going into the new year. We just did a little family trip to Mexico and brought the travel packs, and I'm so glad I did because not only did I not have to drag a big Ziploc bag full of different supplements, I just brought my AG1. And that morning routine kept us and our guts in tip-top shape for the trip. Very important. AG1 now has their best offer ever. If you head to drinkag1.com/culty, you'll get the welcome kit, a morning person hat, a bottle of vitamin D3 and K2, an AG flavor sampler, and you'll get to try their new sleep supplement, AGZ, for free, which has been a total game changer for my nightly routine. That's drinkag1.com/culty for $126 in free gifts for new subscribers. This holiday season has already been a little bit stressful. We went away for Thanksgiving and I had to go back to Vancouver for a last-minute family thing. And between that travel and figuring out what my kids want for Christmas and hosting and holiday band concerts and last-minute plans, let's be honest, money stress, it's really easy to lose track of where your cash is actually going. That's why we've been using Monarch. Rated Wall Street Journal's best budgeting app of 2025, Monarch is an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in a clean dashboard on your phone or laptop. Right now, I'm keeping an eye on our holiday spending categories so we don't start the new year with a debt hangover. Monarch lets you link everything, checking, investments, retirement, even property value, so you can see your true net worth and stay on top of your year-end priorities. Nippy and I use it for quick weekly money check-ins, which has made financial conversations way easier and far less stressful. Thank you, Monarch. Ignoring your finances completely can get expensive fast. If you don't pay attention, you might miss chances to save more, invest smarter, or move closer to big goals. One of ours is buying a home in the next year, so we got to get on top of it. And Monarch keeps you informed even in the chaos of the holidays. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code CULTY at monarch.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code CULTY. Happy holidays. Thank you for listening. Now, let's dive back into the Cultiverse. Well, that's interesting. I can't think of...
The story tracks.
I mean, it totally tracks. I just can't think of who was from Dubai, who was in massage school. There's so many people that were kind of peripheral who came and went, and they were always encouraged to bring people to intros. So
it was always that little side. It was always that group that kind of took care of Keith's health and some of the nannies.
Yeah, could have been somebody from the Rainbow Program. Who came from Dubai? I don't remember anyone personally, so don't know who that was. But sorry that you almost got roped in, but I'm really glad you trusted your instincts, Lauren from Saratoga.
And thank God for Google.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Wish I had Google.
I know. We Googled too late.
Netscape. Failed us.
Speaking of which, I miss Saratoga. That was like one of the bonuses of
Still
being
there.
in Nexium. I know I could go, but like when I think about the region, Albany itself, sorry for the people who live there, not particularly my jam, but Saratoga was really cute and the little town of Troy that Troy sort of named after.
Lake Placid.
Yes, and also where we did V Week.
Oh, not Lake Placid. Lake George.
Lake George. Yeah, I was like, wait, Lake Placid.
No,
Yeah,
Lake Placid is nice too, but that's not where we went.
Yeah,
Lake
sorry.
George. Yeah.
I thought I was like, I've never been there. Lake George, where we did V Week. I mean, really beautiful part of the world, and that part was, I never would have experienced that had I not joined NXIVM. So always trying to find the silver linings.
True. You wouldn't be in Atlanta, Georgia.
I'm living my best life.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we got another one.
One more? Who's this from?
One more. Hung Ye Paisinger.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Hung Ye Paisinger from Canada, and I want to leave a voice message about the Alan Hewitt episode. I've spent over 40 years inside the Tibetan Buddhist community that many people from the outside could call a cult. I became a student of Chögyam Trungpa in 1983. After Chögyam Trungpa died in 1987, his son Mipam took over the leadership. I became his student. Then in 2018, the Me Too hit Mipam. Some women came forward with stories from 20 years earlier, and suddenly the narrative became very black and white. Mipam as perpetrator, women as victims. I was a very active and engaged member of this Tibetan Buddhist community and privy to some behind-the-door information. These women were all adults and accepted the invitations. Some even went back several times. I accepted an invitation too, a sexual one, because at the time I felt honored to be asked by the guru, excited about being the chosen one. Do I regret that I accepted the invite? Yes, because it wasn't such a great experience and because I said yes for the wrong reasons. It is very easy to fall into the narrative of I was being used. He misused his power. But who also played along? Who believed that someone can make me special? Who gave them my power? That's why Hewitt's portrayal of Nicole concerns me. Hewitt tells a simplistic, sensational story. Nicole is a manipulator, the women as passive victims. And that's just not how adult dynamics works. Adults participate, adults choose, power is given. Dynamics between humans are co-created. I'm asking you guys to give space for nuance, to allow for the voices that don't fit the simplistic victim-perpetrator script, for the truth that these dynamics are co-created, and to give also voice to the so-called perpetrators. We need to hear from them too. Thank you for your time.
We're going to find out.
Thank you for that very personal and thoughtful and vulnerable message from Canada. I have quite a few thoughts. Do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
I'm kind of interested in
what I have to say.
Yeah, I have my take.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. This has to be nuanced. I actually did find Ellen Hewitt's perspective for a journalist who wasn't in it pretty nuanced. I don't know.
For someone who hasn't experienced it, yeah.
What was her name from Canada?
Hung Ye.
Hung Ye. I don't know if you read the whole book, Empire of Orgasm by Ellen Hewitt, but I do think that she was very balanced and nuanced. Ironically, we have not done an episode on your Tibetan Buddhist cult, but it is in the works. So hang tight. Sorry in advance. Secondly, I mean, you're right. Women in these situations have to look at what was going on for them, that they were vulnerable and
what they were going for.
What they were going for. And just as I have, even though I didn't have the sex element with Keith, I still was like wanting to be special and enjoyed being chosen and all those things. That's my part of the street, right? It doesn't mean I wasn't victimized and someone abused their power. And same thing with these women and same thing with you. Yes, you went willingly. Yes, you were excited about it. You felt chosen. But the person who you were invited to have sex with was also abusing their power. It was coercion. And what I hear when I hear you speaking is that, I mean, I agree with you, and these conversations have to be nuanced. It's not strictly victim perpetrator.
I like this. Yeah.
But just because somebody has an emotional role to play in it and they were going for something it doesn't mean that the abuser isn't an abuser.
It wasn't operating under a different premise.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
And I mean, I think that when you sign up for something like this, whether it's a Tibetan Buddhist community or a sexual exploration workshop, there's what you're signing up for. And for some women, the women who consented, who said, yes, I want to, for example, with One Taste, sit and, let, in some cases, a stranger stroke me till I orgasm, and they are signing up, and that's very upfront, and they agree to that. That's fine. It's not what I would do. Good for them. Happy for them. But there are other women who agree to that, and as they got more involved in the group, then became basically handlers for investors and way beyond the scope. That's not what they signed up for. So It's also case by case. Like every single group we've covered, there's people who've reached out to us and said, well, that wasn't my experience. To which we say, I'm glad that you had a good experience, but doesn't negate the bad, right?
Right. And to your point, it's case by case. There are people that can just assume the victim stance and have buyer's remorse and just
cry foul.
Not take responsibility for their participation. And that's why this stuff is so difficult to assess. It's because you're going in on emotional abuse, and people, don't want to admit they're emotionally abused. They don't realize they're coerced until they do.
And while you, listener, voicemail friend, may have been excited, there's many cases where people say yes to their abuser and to that invitation because they feel like they have no choice, or that, collateral or nude photos or whatever is going to be released, or that it's the only way to stay in some cases, like God's good graces. So that's coercion.
Or is approval.
Yeah, or just approval. And that is the abuser manipulating the victim's needs, desires, fears for his or her own gain.
Well, since then, because this email was 2 weeks ago, she's since been sentenced. Actually, not sentenced. She has a suggested sentence.
Yeah, the sentencing memos dropped. And thank you. I will not mention names in case it's sensitive, but one of our Patreon members was part of One Taste and let us know through a private message. So thank you to this person that the government recommended 20 years for Nicole, 14 years for Rachel. And apparently the precedent that we all set with our case was cited in both memos, which were 100 pages each. So that's awesome.
She might get more than Diddy.
It's crazy. I'm really happy that she's getting that much time, but more than P. Diddy, that's like, what in the actual? But by the way, this was on my list to bring up today in terms of like wrapping up the year. I know I'm a little behind on this subject, but I think I purposely have not dived in too deep just because it was just too triggering and similar. But I'm reading Nobody's Girl by Virginia Roberts. She was one of the main...
She is one that committed suicide.
Yes, and I haven't finished the book, so I'm not going to comment on it yet. But if anybody wants like a very upsetting and heartbreaking...
For Christmas.
And also emotional, well-written book. I know you haven't read it yet, but every time I tell you something that I'm shocked at, you say...
Yeah, I saw that already. But there's a documentary about it.
Which I haven't watched, but I'd like to.
This is telling me that you don't watch the memes that I sent you, because I sent you a meme about the Epstein and the Amy Roebuck hot mic moment, where she was like, we had this 3 years ago. And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, there was a reporter, Amy Roebuck, I'll let you take it over.
Yes, and I'm reading it from Virginia's point of view, who finally agrees to do an on-camera interview, chooses a network, ABC, tells her story, really proud of herself, has been, silent, but wants to get, to protect. She has a daughter now and wants to stop bad guys, and she goes on ABC and tells her story, and Roebuck's really thrilled with it, and then it doesn't get released because she names Prince Andrew as one of the people that she was trafficked to, and so it gets halted. Like, clearly there's people who are very powerful that don't want these stories out.
And can pull strings whenever they want.
And then I flashed to remembering that, there was a reporter saying, I had this story 3 years ago, recently. So it's like hearing it from the perspective of this survivor who I'm, on the emotional ride with, as she's trying to, she's tried to speak up before Me Too. Like, this would have been a completely different story post Me Too.
Who knows? Like, this is a powerful group of people that when you speak out again, I mean, she's dead now, right? Like, that's a fact. Like, that's not...
Whatever happened, we'll probably never know, but, lots of speculation there.
It makes me believe my suspicions and conspiracy theories more than mainstream media. This is the kind of stuff that causes that.
Fair enough.
Right?
So, we'd love to interview her co-writer, who probably knew her better than anyone in terms of like following the case, or if there's another one of Epstein's victims that we should talk to, please do let us know.
Well, if I was an Epstein victim, I wouldn't have much incentive right now.
That's a good point.
It sends a clear message.
Maybe we
about-
should cut this. No, I'm scared.
Anyway, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Jesus.
Let's end on a happier note.
You know, I was going to go into the Brown University thing because it's my alma mater, but it's pretty morose.
Maybe we'll save that for the new year.
For another one. And it's still evolving. They haven't found the shooter after how many days. So
I thought they did find the shooter.
No.
That wasn't the shooter?
It wasn't him. He's still at large.
So they've had 2 suspects?
Yeah.
I didn't know that they released a second
We went up
suspect.
to dinner with my dad last night, and he said it best. He's like, Brown University is being exposed right now. And I'll park it there because I don't want to get into it too much. We've gotten into a lot. Let's end on a
cheery note. What was our Patreon has asked for a year recap. Nippy, what was some of your favorite episodes of 2025?
I liked Rebecca Lamov's for a few reasons. One, it got me interested in stuff that I had dismissed 15 years ago. Kind of conspiratorial
like MK Ultra stuff?
MK Ultra, like stuff that I thought was ridiculous. She actually went and kind of did a more forensics-based
research deep dive.
science, Harvard-backed kind of to legitimize a little bit more. And after our experience, to suggest that there's things out there that are likely doing this only because they want to get ahead of things. Because if they don't, someone else will. And it's like there's going to be a field that's going to be doing this, and they're going to be getting it wrong, and it has to be covert and secretive. Anyway, it was interesting to me to in another area of where I could keep my guard up, especially with the internet.
Which reminds me also, not a cheery episode, in fact, a devastating episode, but very important with Brandon Guffey about keeping your kids safe.
Yep. That one is one I feel like it's one of the more important ones we've done.
And probably the most hilarious and enjoyable one was with Mark Headley of Scientology.
That's a ride.
That was a ride. 2 parts.
Love
His book's hilarious. And we are going to have Mark back on Patreon live for a Zoom Q&A on Patreon in January. I know we've been talking about this for a while. We've had a hard time with our schedules, but it's happening. And we have some incredible guests lined up for the new year.
Yeah. Keep on keeping on.
Anything else you want to say? Oh, yes, of course. Other plans for the new year. The book will be out. Thank you again to everyone who've pre-ordered. Once the cover reveals, we are going to be sharing that soon. We've had some challenges in that regard, but it's coming together. And we're also going to expand our studio so we can be on YouTube, because apparently that's what's happening in the world of podcasts. Everyone's on YouTube. We'll be traveling for the
hair
book.
And makeup.
We'll have to put some hair and makeup on, eye
God.
patches. Oh, and if you're in Atlanta or near Atlanta on February 3rd, I'll be...
What are you doing here?
I'm going to be hosting a night with my friend and author, Rachel Taff, who wrote a fiction book about cults, and I'll be narrating her sort of Q&A, and we'll both be signing books afterwards. So that'll be a little dry run for our book signings coming up this year.
So cool.
Very, very cool. Thank you guys.
Thanks, guys. Merry
for
Christmas.
a
Happy New
great
Year.
Happy
Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah. And thank you also to all of our supporters around the world, especially in these, dark holiday times, trying to be cheery and find the light in them. And I hope that you do as well.
Okay.
Till next time.
Bye.
Till 2026. Bye, everybody.
Sinking down to the depths of the ocean, hanging on to the weight of my love. If I let go of it all, I could leave, but I know I won't.
We hope you're enjoying A Little Bit Culty. If so, please do show us some love. Drop a rating or leave a review. Hit subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen. And subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/alittlebitculty.
Even better, send this episode to someone who needs it. Maybe they're in a cult. Maybe they're just a little bit susceptible. Or maybe they just love a good story. Spread the word, spread the love. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.
A Little Bit Culty is a Trace 120 production.
Executive produced by Sarah Edmondson and Anthony Nippy Ames in collaboration with producer Will Retherford at Citizens of Sound. Our co-creator is Jess Tardy.
Our production coordinator is Lesli Dinsmore.
Writing by Sandra Nomoto and social media marketing by Eric Swarzinski and Brooke Keene.
Our theme song, Cultivated, is by the artists John Bryant and Nigel Aslan.
Join me and follow the podcast Conspiracy Theories, where we explore what's really going on behind the official narrative. Like, what if the Loch Ness Monster isn't a monster at all, but an elephant? What do the richest 1% know that we don't? And why are they building all those bunkers? And really, what the heck is going on with the Denver airport? Join me every week to see just how high up this goes on the Spotify podcast, Conspiracy Theories. Listen on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.